Okay guys, good morning to everyone, and today I am going to discuss some important points from Polity. Okay, generally we say that we have already read laxmikant and we have read 2-3 times, but when we see any questions in exam hall, we generally miss the answer. Why? Because we don't know where to emphasize and how to read the chapter from Laxmikant, and here I am trying to give the way how to read. Okay, just I am going to begin with Indian president, and later if I can manage time, then I'll try to give lectures or way on the on all the chapters. Okay, the president, the first paragraph you see, what are the components of union executive. Okay, you will find question in the exam, which of the following is not a component of union executive. You will find president, vice president, prime minister, council of minister, and attorney general. Sometimes what happen, our mind says that how attorney general will be related to union executive. Okay, I have not found his name in any other book. Okay, how attorney general come to union executive. Okay, that's why we generally mark the answer wrong. Okay, we take attorney general as not a part of the union executive, because why? While we read the chapter in president, we are unable to read it carefully. Okay, once we read and after that I leave it. Okay, that's why the term attorney general is not imprinted in our mind. President, prime minister, Union Council of Ministers, they are imprinted in our mind. Okay, President, Vice President, Prime Minister, and Council of Ministers, they are imprinted in our mind. Okay, because we find the term every day. Okay, that's why we know that they are part of union executive, but the term attorney general we really don't come across frequently. That's why we think that it is not a part of union executive. That is why we make it wrong. But mind that attorneys, who are the components: president, vice president, prime minister, council of minister, and attorney general, all are part of the union executive. After that, the one line saying the president is the head of the Indian state. You may find in exam, okay, which of the following sentences is not correct? The president is the head of the Indian state. President is the first citizen of India. President acts as the symbol of unity, integrity, and solidarity of nation. The president is the head of the Indian state. The confusing term is that Indian state. You know that you will be confused in exam whether India is a state or whether India is country. Okay, thinking that India is not a state and India is a country, you will mark the sentence as wrong. But the sentence was right. Okay, why you have not been able to make it correct? Because while reading the book Laxmikant, you have not carefully read. Okay, that's remind that the president is the head of the Indian state. The sentence is correct. Okay. Then after that you see the election of president. In case you have to compare the election of president and impeachment of president, then who are the members who take part in the election and who are the members who cannot take part in the election of the president. Okay, you see who can take part in the election of the president: the elected members of both the houses of parliament, the elected members of the legislative assemblies of all the states, the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the union territories of Delhi and Puducherry. While reading the terms, you have to notice that keep notice of the second sentences: the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the states. Okay, if you don't read carefully, you will make it the sentence wrong, because you might find the question in the exam that the elected members of legislative assemblies and the legislative councils of the states. You might mistake because for two reasons. One thing is that you don't mind the word legislative council in your exam hall due to your carelessness, or either you don't know that about whether legislative council can take part or not. Because while you read the book, you have found that the elected members of the legislative assembly can take part. That's why you will think that the elected members of legislative council, elected members of legislative assembly can take part. That's why you will think that the elected elected members of legislative council can also take part in the election of the election of the president. Okay, that's why you will mark the sentence as a wrong. Okay, you will make the wrong. Okay, mind that elected members of a legislative assembly can take part in the election of the president. Okay, elected members of the legislative council cannot take part in the election of the president. Then another sentence, mind that elected members of the legislative assemblies of the union territories of Delhi and Puducherry. Mind that only Delhi and Puducherry elected members. Okay, but not other union territories. Okay, only those in union territories can take part in the president of India who is have legislative assembly. Okay, and mind that only elected. In these three sentences, mind that the word is emphasizing word is elected. Okay, only elected members can take part in the election of president. There is no place of nominated members in election of president. Okay, there is no part of nominated members in the election of president. Okay, there is no part of legislative council in the election of president. There is no part of union territory, the union territories in the election of president who does not have legislative assembly, who is ruled by the lieutenant governor. Okay, but one thing is minded, in the impeachment of president, who can take part or who cannot. In the impeachment of president, the elected members of legislative assembly, members of the legislative assembly of Delhi and Puducherry will be come out. They cannot, though they can take part in the election of president. Okay, though the elected members of legislative assembly, elected members of legislative assembly of Delhi and Puducherry can take part in election of president, but they cannot take part in the impeachment of president. But again, confusing factor is that in case of impeachment, the both nominated and elected, along with elected, another word will come, nominated. Both nominated and elected members of Indian Parliament can take part in the impeachment of the president, though nominated members of Parliament cannot take part in the election of president. Okay, and though elected members of Legislative Assembly and Union Territories of Delhi and Puducherry can take part in election of president, they are now out of the game of impeachment. They cannot take part in the impeachment of president. Mind these things lines while read. Okay. Then another thing, important thing is that while read, all doubts and disputes in connection with the election of the president are inquired into, decided by the Supreme Court, whose decision is final. Any dispute regarding the election of president can be only decided by the Supreme Court. But the confusing term is that the decision of the Supreme Court regarding the election of president is binding or not binding, final or not final. Mind that the decision of the Supreme Court regarding the election of president is final. Okay, if you don't read carefully, you will miss the sentence, you will miss the answer in the exam hall. That is a mind that the decision of the Supreme Court regarding election of president is final. Another thing, another confusing line. The election of a person as president cannot be challenged on the ground that the electoral college was incomplete. For example, you are a candidate and you want to elect. You want to fight the president, or fight the election in president, fight the election as a candidature for the post of president. But you are already elected. Okay, sorry, you have already won the game. Okay, after this, somebody filed a case in Supreme Court that you should be dismissed as a president because the electoral but the electoral college was not sufficient. No, one cannot file cases that on the basis of electoral college that it was insufficient, it was unfulfilled. Mind that this term, you read carefully that nobody can file case in the Supreme Court that on the basis that nobody can file case in the Supreme Court to dismiss the president that on the ground that the electoral college was incomplete. Okay, mind that it is not a ground. Okay. Then another thing is that if the election of a person as a president is declared void by the Supreme Court, acts done by him before the date of the such declaration of the Supreme Court are not invalidated and continue to remain in force. Mind that. For example, you are president, you have been won the game, okay, but after that, due to some reason, you have been impeached. Okay, but what will happen till the impeachment? Whatever works you have done, will they be remain in force or will they be outdated? Okay, but mind that if you are impeached, then the works you have done till that moment will remain in force. They will not be outdated. Okay, mind that. The word invalidated is confusing a little bit in Laxmikant book. It will make you baffled, puzzled. Okay, that's why the mind that you will find that's why mind that if you are impeached, the works done by you till the moment of impeachment will be valid and will be remain in force after the impeachment also. Okay. Then another thing is that the oath of the office to the president is administered by the Chief Justice of India, and in his absence, the senior most judge of the Supreme Court available. We know that generally the oath taking ceremony of the president is done by Chief Justice of India. We all know that. Okay, but if you find in the exam hall, okay, the oath of the which of the following does not take part in the oath taking ceremony of president? Okay, cannot take part in the oath making ceremony of president at any rate. You will find two terms, vice president and senior most judge of the Supreme Court. Generally what happened, we think that if in the absence of Chief Justice of India, it comes to our mind that if there is no Chief Justice, then the Vice President will make the President oath. Okay, Vice President will administer the oath making ceremony for the President. But the thing is wrong. You have not read the laxmikant carefully, and therefore you will make the wrong. Mind that if there is no Chief Justice of India available for the oath taking ceremony, then Vice President cannot administer the oath of the President. Instead, it will be the senior most judge of the Supreme Court that will administer the oath of the President. Okay, be careful in these things, otherwise you will miss marks in the exam hall. Okay, then another thing is that he should not be a member of either House of Parliament or a House of the state legislature. If any such person is elected as president, he is deemed to have vacated his seat in that house on the date on which he enters upon his office as a president. Mind that where you will make the wrong. You will find a sentence in the exam hall that the president has to vacate his office. The president has to vacate his office within 6 months after his election, after he is elected as a president, if he is a member of any House of Parliament. Mind that president cannot be a member of any House of Parliament or cannot be a member either of a state legislature or a legislative council. And if any member is elected as a president, then he must have to vacate that seat on the particular day on which he will enter the office. Okay, mind that a president, there is no time frame 6 months. Generally we have what happen, we generally come across different time periods, 6 weeks, 6 months. Okay, in polity, that's why if we find such kind of word 6 months, 6 weeks, generally we make it right. Okay, but it is not. If president is a member of any house of whether it is of parliament or whether it is of state, he must have to be vacate that seat of the member on the particular day on which he takes upon the the responsibility of president. They are on the very particular day. There is no time frame of 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, etc. and etc. Be careful in this regard. Okay. Then another very confusing thing is that what are the immunities of privileges enjoyed by the president? The most discussing what is civil proceeding and what is criminal proceeding, and what are the different provisions for civil proceeding and criminal proceeding of a president. Okay. Mind that in case of civil proceeding, what happened? The notice of a civil proceeding. Mind the every word very carefully which I am going to say. If you miss one word also, then you will miss the whole meaning and you will make the answer option wrong in the exam hall. That is why be very careful, be sensitive, make your ears sensitive and listen very carefully every word, and okay, whatever I am going to say. Okay. For a civil process, a 2-month notice, has to be issued. A 2-month notice has to be issued to president for in case of civil proceeding. A 2-month notice has to be issued to president in case of civil proceeding for the acts done under his personal capacity. A 2-month notice has to be issued to president for any civil proceeding for acts done under his personal capacity. If president do any mistake for his personal acts, then civil proceeding can be issued, but for that before 2 months a notice has to be issued in this regard to the president. But again mind that no civil proceeding can be issued to president for acts done under his official capacity. For example, you see Council of Ministers has given a document to President for sign. Okay, it is the duty of the President, and this duty and responsibility comes under his official act. It comes under his official duty and official responsibility and official power. Okay, but after that there is a mismatch regarding the document. Somebody says that it is not suitable, it is fraud, etc. and etc. But on this ground, no civil proceeding can be done to the President, because this act has been done under his official capacity. The official rule, official privilege says that the President has to make signature on the documents given by the Council of Ministers to him. Okay, it is his official capacity. That is why under official capacity no civil proceeding can be done to President. Okay, for acts done under official capacity, even no civil proceeding can be issued to President. But if President makes anything which is wrong or which is not suitable and which are not which are not within the purview of official capacity, for those acts civil proceeding can be issued to President by giving a notice before 2 months. Now civil proceeding clear, I think. Now came to criminal proceeding. But mind that in case of criminal proceeding, what happened? No criminal proceeding can be issued to President during his term. During his term means for the term to which he will be as a president. No criminal proceeding can be issued to President even under his official capacity. In civil proceeding, what we have seen, that a civil proceeding can be issued to President for acts done under personal capacity. Only civil proceeding cannot be issued to a President if the works come under official capacity. But in case of President criminal proceeding, it is sat khun maaf. Okay, no criminal proceeding can be issued to President whether his works whether he does any mistake under his official capacity and under his personal capacity. But mind that this immunity is only available during his term. Mind the term, 3 words, during his term. Okay, during his term. Okay, now clear? criminal proceeding cannot be issued to president. Okay, criminal proceeding cannot be issued to president for any act done even under official capacity or act done under personal capacity. Okay, this is very important. Okay, mind the thing, mind the difference. Okay, then again mind that if president resigns from his office, to which he will submit the resignation letter. Okay, generally we think that the generally we might think that the Chief Justice of India generally administers the oath of the president. Okay, then generally what we think that it is Chief Justice of India to whom the president will submit the resignation letter, but not Chief Justice of India. Though Vice President does not administer the oath of the president, but it is the Vice President to whom the president will submit resignation letter. Okay. Then another thing is that impeachment. Okay, whenever you find term, you might be puzzled in the exam hall. You find that the president can be removed. You might find a sentence: the president can be removed from his office during his term. But the mind that the word remove will make the sentence wrong, because the president is not removed in India. The president is impeached. Emphasizing word is impeached. Okay, the president is not removed in India. The president is impeached. Another confusing line, I am going to say very much confusing. The Indian president is impeached as on the ground as defined by the Indian Constitution. Whether the sentence is right or wrong. Indian president is impeached on the ground as defined by the Indian Constitution. Whether the sentence is right or wrong. The sentence is wrong, because the president mentions the word impeachment. It is 101% correct. But the thing is that what will be the components of this impeachment? The meaning of the impeachment is nowhere defined in Indian Constitution. Be careful, okay? Otherwise, you will miss very for your little carelessness, you will miss marks in UPSC prelims. Okay. Another thing is that impeachment procedure. It is mind that any of the house, Parliament consists of two houses, upper house and lower house. Any of the house can initiate the process for the impeachment of president. For any, if Lok Sabha wants to do what Lok Sabha have to do, Lok Sabha has to give 14 days notice to the president. Okay, then 1/4 of the members of the Lok Sabha has to give signature for initiating the motion of motion in Lok Sabha. If 1/4 of the members gives permission, then 14 days notice will be given to the president, and then what happened after signing by 1/4 of the members of the Lok Sabha for initiating process, the motion has to be passed. The motion has to be passed by 2/3 members of the total membership of Lok Sabha. Okay, for what the members of the Lok Sabha have to do first? 1/4 of the members of the Lok Sabha have to give signature for initiating the motion of impeachment in Lok Sabha. Okay, then after that 2/3 of the members of the Lok Sabha has to pass this motion, then 14 days notice has to be given to president. Okay, now the work has to be finished for the Lok Sabha. Okay, then this motion will go to Rajya Sabha. Then what Rajya Sabha have to do? Again in Rajya Sabha, this proposal has to be passed by 2/3 of the members of the total membership of the house. Okay, but the most important thing is that here the Rajya Sabha will work as a quasi-judicial body. Why quasi-judicial body? They will invite the president, and president has a right to represent him in the second part of the process to put his reasons. Okay, what are the reasons or what are the not, and Rajya Sabha will decide. Okay, and this is why Rajya Sabha is a quasi-judicial body. The second part of the process in a impeachment of president is a quasi-judicial body, because their work resembles to the judiciary to some extent. And if the second for the second time also in this house also the proposal of impeachment has to be is passed by 2/3 of the members of total members, then the president has to be resigned from his post. Okay, that's why what we have seen, any of the house can take part, initiate the process for the impeachment of president. Okay, whether it is Rajya Sabha and whether it is Lok Sabha. If Lok Sabha initiates the process, then it will be passed to the Rajya Sabha, and here Rajya Sabha will act as a quasi-judicial body. Okay, and if Rajya Sabha initiate the process, then it will go to Lok Sabha. Then after a Lok Sabha will act as a quasi-judicial body. Okay, till today I have finished here. Then after that I will again come with another analysis regarding the chapter of president. Hope you are helpful. Okay, till then take care, bye bye, and don't forget to give your comment, okay, and give your advice in the below comment box. Okay.